Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Today we will be looking at two beginner drills that you can buy. I am not promoting either one of these brands, but these are two beginner options that we'll be taking a look at that you can use to actually get some work done. So I see a lot of clients, they have these little small pew pew drills about this big. You can't get much done with that. These are two affordable options, and there are more out there. As I mentioned, I am not promoting either of these brands specifically, but you can find options that are inexpensive that you can use to actually get some work done. So just to begin, taking a look at the drill. When you purchase a drill, one thing you want to look at is the voltage. And so the voltage will correspond to what type of power you get out of the drill, and that determines what you'll be actually able to get done with it. So both of these, they have removable, rechargeable batteries. They come with chargers that you can plug in. So when you pick these drills up, these are drill drivers. These are not impacts. That's a different story, but for the beginner, this is all you need. So they both have chargers that you can plug into the wall. They come with the batteries. You'll snap your battery in. One thing you want to do to get the most out of the drill is make sure that the drill is fully charged. So looking at the drill, both drills, this one feels a lot more stout and more responsive, but drill driver, you'll have your forward, reverse, and neutral, where you can lock your trigger. Maybe you're putting it into a bag and this happens to me a lot actually. I put it in the bag and I'll hear the drill going as I'm moving around or in my car or walking down the street because something is pressing up against this trigger. And so this is the middle position you can lock the trigger with. They both come with LED lights. Nice feature. So getting into using these two very useful tools. Here you have your torque settings. And if you don't know what torque is essentially the force behind the rotation. So you might have they might be spinning at the same speed, but under load, one may stop and one may keep going. The force, the strength of the actual spinning will determine how big of a fastener you can drive, how fast you can drive a particular fastener, what kind of wood you'll be able to drive a fastener into, and also the length. And so that is what will determine it, the torque setting. I believe these are both similar torque settings, around 200 or so foot-pounds of torque. If I'm not mistaken, they deliver similar torque values. So these are torque settings. And so this is useful for driving screws, fasteners, especially for the beginner. If you don't want to risk overdriving the fastener and possibly damaging the workpiece, maybe you're screwing into metal. And overdriving the fastener sometimes means that you may destroy the threads inside the metal. If you're driving a fastener into wood, it may mean that you drive the fastener too low, below the surface, and you may damage it. You may deliver too much torque, and the screw may go straight through the material. So this allows you to prevent that. It'll also prevent you from stripping out the head of a screw. If you set these torque values, the lower the value, the lower the torque. And so what will happen is the clutch will actually disengage once it reaches a specified torque. Whatever torque value these correspond to, I'm not sure in terms of pounds per square inch, but this clutch will disengage the lower the setting is, the lower the torque you'll get out of it. So one interesting thing is that one reason why the Phillip head was developed was for the automotive industry, and that is so the screw would actually torque itself out of the fastener once it reached a certain foot-pound, and that would prevent workers in the car factories from damaging a surface or material by over torquing a fastener. And so that's one of the main reasons it was actually developed for industry. And once you would reach a certain torque, the screw would actually, or it would be, the screw was actually made in such a way that it would not hold the bit, and so it would just the bit would actually just spin out of it. So this is similar to that. And so the way you would use this, you get your drill ready. You'll open this chuck. You will place a bit inside the chuck. Whatever bit you need. What you'll usually find is that the manufacturer will specify what size bit you will need for a particular fastener. So in this case, it is number 2 Phillips drive. And if you look closely here, you will see a value on the bit. That actually says PH2, and that stands for Phillips number 2. So you place your bit into the chuck, tighten it down. These are keyless chucks. This was actually revolutionary. When I was younger, you would actually have a key that you would have to use to loosen and tighten this, and if you lost that key, it was really a pain in the behind. And sometimes if you over tightened that key, it was really a pain in the behind to get that bit out of there or put one in. So what I started to do, it was so hard to keep up with the key, was what I would do is use a set of channel locks and lock on 2 sets of channel locks and lock onto the chuck and then twist it open. But technology. So here we will place this. Let's say we will put this into torque setting 1, and a firm press down on the screw. Place the screw on the bit, put a firm press onto the screw. You want to keep it as straight as possible, in parallel with the screw. A light pressure on the handle. If you want to add this hand to help stabilize it, you can. And then you will lightly press the trigger. And one thing to note here is that these are variable speed triggers. And so some of the older drills, and I still have some, they have all-in triggers. And so once you push it, you get full force out of it. You get the full amount of torque and RPM. Some of them, I still have some where they have only 2 settings, a high and a low. And when you press that button, you get everything. But these are variable speed triggers. And so you can vary the speed by just lightly pressing. Which is a really great feature to have. The way you'll do this is you'll press down. You want to put your hand here, stabilize the drill if you need to. Keep this parallel to the screw and give it a light press just to get it started. You don't have to be scared of it. Like I said, this is not a machine gun. This is a variable speed trigger, and so you are in control. So you'll place this down, put a light press, try keeping it straight, parallel. You can use this hand to stabilize it and just give it a press. Okay, so once it bites down, you are almost at the home stretch. If you want to give it some more power, you can do that. But as you see here, my clutch has disengaged. Okay, so I've reached the upper end of that particular torque setting, so I can turn this up if I need to. Let's say we'll turn it to 13, and now we can continue driving the screw. So the torque setting is very important for a beginner to prevent you from overdriving the fastener. That is a great thing to have on a tool. Another setting is the drill setting. And so this is what you would use if you want to drill a hole in some type of material, be it steel or wood. Maybe you have a large fastener, and the larger the fastener, the larger the diameter, and also the longer the length of the fastener, it will require greater torque to drive it. So sometimes maybe you have a drill that doesn't provide enough torque to drive that particular fastener. What you can do is find a drill bit that is slightly smaller than the diameter of the screw, and you can pre-drill a hole. So you can pre-drill your hole and then insert your screw. This isn't the right size. This bit is actually too large for this screw, but the idea is that you would pre-drill a hole and then you would drive your screw, and that would make it significantly easier for the drill. So one thing unique about this drill is you have your torque settings, you have your drill setting, but under the drill setting you also have two speeds. You have a 1 and a 2. And what this is these correspond to higher and lower speeds. And when you put it on the 1, you'll get, when the 1 is showing, you're on the 1, and that will give you lower speed and higher torque. And that's actually useful if you're drilling into steel, or something, like I said, a large fastener. Maybe you're using the drill function for that, but if you're drilling into something that's particularly hard, like a metal, you want to use the lower speed setting with higher torque. Then you can switch it to 2, and that's faster speed, lower torque. And that's very useful. So, okay. I think that's it for this one. So in the next one, we'll be going over the many fastener types there actually are, and how to choose the right fastener for your particular project. I'll see you guys then. If this was useful to you, make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, I appreciate you watching and participating in the videos on this channel.